On Wham Bam Dashcam, we've shown you over 4,000 dashcam videos captured by our fans all over the world, with 20 new ones every week. You're about to see some of the craziest clips we've ever featured, so buckle up for Wham Bam Dashcam's Worst Drivers of New York, Volume 2. Our first submission is a perfect example of why you should never race on public roads. Not only could it cost you, but even completely innocent drivers might get caught up in the chaos. Our submitter was driving with his younger sister in the front seat. He told us she's afraid to sit in the front after watching lots of Wham Bam Dashcam videos, but he assured her that nothing bad would happen. It looks like he spoke too soon. Two racing drivers sped by on either side before one lost control and hit the other. The two out-of-control vehicles proceeded to collide with three more, making this a 5-vehicle collision. Incredibly, our submitter's Toyota RAV4 was completely untouched, partly due to the fact that he stood on the brake pedal once the carnage began to unfold in front of him. He pulled over and checked on the occupants of the involved vehicles. Incredibly, nobody was seriously injured. He provided his dashcam footage to the victims and the responding police officers before continuing on his way. Our submitter told us this incident inspired him to upgrade to a dashcam with both front and rear camera angles. He also wanted to shout out his younger sisters, Tun Tun and Princess. Jake was driving his Subaru WRX when the driver of a Cadillac Escalade pulled in front of him, forcing Jake into a T-bone collision. It sure looks like the Cadillac driver ran a red light, but intended to go all the way across the road and turn left. If only we could take a look at this collision from another angle. As it turns out, we can. The driver of a Tesla captured the incident on Tesla Cam and shared it with Jake, and that turned out to be a lifesaver. Jake told us the Escalade driver was working hard to spin the story. The combination of Jake's dashcam footage and the Tesla Cam footage cleared Jake and proved the Cadillac driver fully responsible for the destruction of Jake's brand new Subaru. But that's not all. The insurance settlement actually paid for Jake's new Tesla Model 3 to replace his WRX. He told us he's happy to be a part of the Tesla gang now. Talk about an upgrade. Sebastian was following behind a school bus when it stopped to let out passengers, deploying its red flashing lights and multiple stop signs to warn motorists not to pass it in either direction. An oncoming driver either missed the dozens of flashing lights or they didn't think they applied to them. Either way, they drove right past the school bus, but those weren't the only flashing lights they would encounter.
Yes!
A law enforcement officer behind Sebastian saw what happened and flipped around to administer some instant justice. Sebastian told us he was extremely happy to capture it on the dashcam he's had for over 2 years. Ricky was headed to work when she was passed by a reckless Acura driver. Her gut reaction was to slow down, but she had no idea in that moment how bad things were about to get. Ricky is thankful she'd slowed down below the speed limit by the time the Acura spun out and she struck it head-on. Incredibly, nobody was hurt in the collision. The Acura, on the other hand, was totaled. Ricky's Chevy sedan was also lightly damaged by the impact. She told us the Acura driver tried to convince her to let him repair her car himself. But after a week of radio silence, she contacted his insurance provider. You might not be surprised to find out that the Acura driver never reported the collision to his insurance provider, and he even tried to deny that the wreck had happened at all. Thankfully for Ricky, her dashcam doesn't lie. This submitter was on her way to get some ice cream when she was rear-ended by a pickup driver who clearly wasn't paying attention to the road ahead of him.
Emergency Services.
Thankfully, our submitter wasn't severely injured by this impact that we estimated at around 45 miles per hour. No doubt thanks to the fact that she was wearing her seatbelt. She replaced her totaled Subaru Forester with a Tesla Model Y. Upgrade! She and her husband are hopeful they won't be sending us any Tesla Cam videos, unless they involve other people, of course. Enjoy your new ride! Watch what happened as Peso headed through an intersection with the right-of-way. That other driver proceeded past his stop sign when traffic wasn't clear, but maybe we can forgive him since vehicles parked on the street made it hard for him to see. Even so, why would he stop in the middle of the intersection? His abrupt stop forced Peso to slam on the brakes, and he came within inches of a collision. Thankfully, no contact was made. If you're ever in this situation, commit to a course of action and get out of the way as fast as you can. Kenny was driving down a highway in New York when he was passed by a pickup truck with a canopy carrying bicycles on a bike rack. Moments later, the pickup spun out for no apparent reason. After careening across the other lane and going off the highway sideways, the pickup rolled not once, not twice, but 3 times before finally settling. In all that rolling, the contents of the pickup were strewn everywhere. Kenny's brother pulled over so the two of them could render aid. Miraculously, the driver of the pickup wasn't seriously injured. In fact, Kenny told us the driver immediately began loading his cargo back in his pickup. Kenny said the guy even passed a concussion test easily, but we're pretty sure that pickup truck wasn't about to get back on the road anytime soon. Kenny said, "Please check your tires." His were worn out and not up to the task. In this video, the cop is the one who didn't stop when he should have.
Wow.
Hank Jr. was driving with his father in the passenger seat when they watched a police SUV charge through a stop sign without any lights or siren active before T-boning another SUV. They immediately stopped to check on everyone. Hank Jr. told us the officer seemed shaken up and was very apologetic as he seemed to take responsibility. Thankfully, it doesn't appear like anyone was seriously hurt. Ranald was on his way to work one rainy day when an SUV driver suddenly cut across his lane. Ranald came within inches of hitting the Chevy SUV with his Subaru Outback. He wanted to tell our viewers, get a dash cam, and even an inexpensive one could save you a lot of headache and money. This submitter was leaving a school parking lot, and as he approached a 4-way stop, he watched the driver ahead of him stop before proceeding with the right-of-way. The driver of a white car from the right proceeded out of order before hitting the car ahead of our submitter, sending it through a wooden fence after the driver lost control. Both drivers pulled over, as did our submitter. The driver of the white car admitted fault. Our submitter provided copies of his dashcam footage to both drivers, and thankfully, nobody was injured. A police SUV was behind Julia when she heard a rear-end collision happen behind her. The police officer made a 3-point turn and responded to the collision scene before Julia pulled into a nearby parking lot to retrieve her dashcam footage. When she offered it to the parties involved, they declined. I guess having a cop witness a collision is good enough. Thankfully, nobody appeared to have been hurt by the impact. Julia told us she and her family watch Wham Bam videos religiously, and she asked us to shout out their dog Charlie, who always remains attentive while our videos play. Hey there, Charlie. Who's a good boy? Super Dog spotted another near Honda bump while driving down a highway in New York. The Honda driver threaded the needle between Super Dog's Civic and a semi-truck. Super Dog said, "At least they used their signals, even though I had no chance to see them." Doug was waiting at a red light when the car next to him was launched forward by a high-speed rear-end collision.
I gotta go. I'm okay.
A speeding white SUV smashed into the black car, sending it forward into the intersection. Meanwhile, the SUV flattened a pedestrian walk signal before stopping. A witness stopped to give a statement, and he said the driver of the white SUV had been weaving through traffic and had just cut him off before she slammed into the black coupe. Doug shared his footage with the victim. Our next video is a Tesla behaving badly that really takes the cake. Not only did this Tesla driver cause a collision, they immediately left the scene, probably oblivious to the damage they'd caused.
That Tesla man can't drive!
As a near constant user of FSD myself, I can tell you with high confidence that the Tesla's human driver almost certainly caused this fender bender. Thankfully, the involved drivers were able to pull over safely. This submitter, who wanted us to call him X, was in a left turn lane when he watched the box truck ahead of him continue straight instead. Professor X got to witness instant justice when an unmarked Dodge Charger went chasing after the box truck with siren screaming. Mr. X pointed out that if we zoom in, we can see the party lights come on. Nice catch, Dr. X. Davy's dashcam was running in parking mode when it captured this video of an SUV driver hitting a parked car while trying to maneuver through a cramped parking lot. Parking mode is when a dashcam will automatically come on and record video in certain situations even while the car is turned off. A safety circuit ensures the dashcam won't drain your car's battery. Avi was headed home to New Jersey after a funeral when an oncoming driver made an unprotected left turn, meaning he should have yielded to opposing traffic, across Avi's lane. Avi had no opportunity to avoid colliding with the SUV, spilling the Chinese food he just picked up all over the floor of his Hyundai Kona. He called 911 right away, then went to talk to the occupants of the SUV. That's when he discovered that the unlicensed and uninsured driver of the Nissan Pathfinder spoke almost no English, and they had to use a translation app to communicate. The driver immediately accused Avi of running a red light and speeding, but Avi told them he'd captured the whole incident on his dashcam. He told us that having the footage saved him a ton of headache with insurance. Thanks to his dashcam, Avi got a settlement check from his own insurance provider a week later after they totaled his Hyundai Kona. He told us he was very happy to have his dashcam. He also told us, "I especially love and appreciate the amount of info for each clip and backstory and aftermath which is included." Thanks, Avi. He also shouted out his wife Michelle for being supportive and loving. Paul was driving in New York, the state, not the city, when an oncoming driver drifted across the double yellow lines and nearly hit Paul's Honda Pilot head-on. Paul thinks the driver of the black SUV was distracted, but thankfully, Paul was not. He swerved off the road to avoid a collision, then checked his rearview mirror to make sure the other driver didn't lose control. This submitter was on his way home from a birthday party when an oncoming van made an illegal left turn across traffic before colliding with a car. Our submitter told us left turns from that direction aren't allowed here, so the car driver couldn't have expected the sudden maneuver from the van. He also told us that, as a new driver, our channel shows him what not to do. Sean watched a Mazda come too fast through a left turn before ricocheting off a guardrail. After witnessing the collision, Sean stopped and went back to see if he could help. Police and paramedics responded quickly, and Sean said they had to smash a window to remove the driver from the SUV. Kevin was driving across the Queensboro Bridge when he watched a distracted Honda driver bump the side of a passing box truck. Our submitter pointed out that it didn't seem like any damage was done aside from the side mirror folding in, so it makes sense that both drivers carried on like nothing had happened. I hear you typing, "No, this wasn't a Honda bump." That's when a Honda rolls into another vehicle stopped at a red light or stop sign. It's not just any Honda bumping into anything. We've straightened this out before. Don't at me. This submitter was driving when a Jeep driver exited an alley from behind a building, clipping the side of her Subaru Forester. The driver of the Jeep was a new driver who was very sorry and feared she'd lose her license after wrecking her father's Jeep. Thankfully, nobody was seriously injured in the collision. Jason was on his way to the airport to pick up his neighbor when he nearly collided head-on with a wrong-way driver on the interstate. Jason told us the other driver's high beams blinded him and he couldn't tell until the last second that they were in his lane. Thankfully, the Audi driver on his right gave him space to swerve so he could avoid a collision. Jason told us he called 911 and provided police with the location of the wrong-way driver. But on his way back from the airport, he didn't see any police cars. Hopefully, the driver realized their mistake and got off the highway. Brian was driving when he watched a car pull in front of him with no lights on. He tried multiple times to warn the driver by flashing his own headlights at her, but evidently she didn't get the message. Another driver didn't see the car coming and pulled out in front of it before getting T-boned. Even though his car was sent spinning, it thankfully wasn't hit by any other traffic. Brian stopped to check on the drivers. Thankfully, neither was seriously injured. He offered a copy of his dashcam footage to the responding police, but they haven't contacted him for it since then. Jory was headed to school one morning shortly after getting her first dashcam. When she approached a red light, an oncoming SUV ran the light to turn left, right in front of a cop car. Jory kept going to school after capturing the instant justice with her new dashcam. If you need a dashcam, we put links to the ones we recommend down in the description, along with special discount codes just for our fans.
Wham! Bam, we got a Patreon man. Please support the show.